into the ONTV studio for another edition of Orion Outreach. I'm Ian Locke, Executive Director here at Orion Neighborhood Television. Special guest today, Julia Dalrymple, our Township Clerk. It's that time of season where we're going to talk about elections and the clerk's office and everything you guys are doing in preparation for the upcoming midterms and general election. So for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, and maybe they don't see your face everywhere, but you guys are working hard behind the scenes with volunteers and staffers and training, getting ready for the elections. Before we get into the elections, let's talk about what does the clerk's office do here for the residents of Orion Township?
Yeah, so the clerk's office is kind of, I like to say, the hub of the township because we actually touch so many more things than I think people recognize that we do. So if you need your bill paid, like if you're a vendor, we process all the AP stuff. We process payroll for everyone who works for us. We also then take the board book, so anything that has to do with the Board of Trustees, so getting the agendas, the memos, the synopsis, all of that comes from our office. And then outside of that too, obviously election stuff, which we're going to talk more about. But another thing that we do is we offer passports. So that's been a really great addition to our service. And thank you to Lene from our staff that brought that idea. That was like, I think that's something we could do. So it's been a great service for us to offer as well.
Wow, that is brand new, right? I saw something on the electronic sign out front, and I'm like, I actually rubbernecked on the way north, coming into the studio going, passports, because I need to look for a passport. And to see it there was, when did you start offering passports?
At the beginning of this year. We really got into the swing of things. So it's been a minute, but it's been such a great one. We've got a dedicated space in the building. So if you come in with your kids, because we see a lot of that parents are starting to travel, you're on a travel team, whatever you've got going on, vacations. And so they're bringing in their kids. And so we've got a dedicated conference room. And then we've got the bucket of crayons and markers and stuff that if mom is doing this,
keep them busy.
That everybody is happy at the end. But yeah, it's been a great service, and you can go right to our website and click on the link and you register online for your passport, and we'll tell you everything you need. And
photos too?
We don't do the photos. That's the one thing, because the front of our building, we still haven't been able to find the best space for that yet, but we'll send you to CVS or Walgreens or Costco. They all do it. And then you just bring your photos with us and your paperwork.
Wow, now I'm talking passports. I know that's another show, but if you go in, you process it, how long to get it? I mean,
so we mail them out. Yeah. So what happens is you can decide if you want to expedite your passport or not. So that's kind of the difference. But typically they tell us like 6 weeks. And that's on a good time frame. Sometimes if the government is slower than they are, and if it's faster, we've seen people turn them around very quickly.
I saw say for a government document, 6 weeks isn't so bad.
Yes.
Us working in this field, we know that it can take a lot longer to get certain government documents.
Yes. Our friend Brian Burney needed his passport very quickly, and he got it very fast and in time for his trip. So we were very excited for that.
Well, that's a great service, and you find all the information at the township website. So we are here for a big, big deal. Midterms, always an exciting, here at ONTV, we get excited about it because people come out of the woodwork. They're really getting civic minded. They start reading the ballots. You have your candidates coming out and the punditry and all that stuff that you get in midterms and the changeover in government potentially and all these different things that happen. We're not talking about punditry today. We're not talking about any of that, but we're going to talk about the process and the work that the clerk's office is doing to get the community ready for the elections. So what kind of dates are we looking for? Because they're coming up pretty quick.
They are. So the primary is on August 4th. So that's coming, I can't believe it's already July.
Right.
And then we just go straight to August. And then I saw back to school stuff at Target the other day, and I thought, oh my, it's too soon.
They hit the 4th of July, and all of a sudden it's back to school. My wife's a teacher, and I heard a howl.
It made me pause for a second too, even though now I'm retired. I still did the moment for all my friends, and I was like, oh, it's already time for lunch boxes.
But it kind of is in the rush leading up to school, but it is, like you said, it's the 4th.
Yes.
So, and then the general comes up on November 3rd.
It does.
Right. So a lot of preparation, a lot of work. And we know this day and age with elections and ballots and the variety of ways you can vote and trying to make it easier for the electorate to get out and cast that vote is so important these days. It does have impact on our communities, especially the local races.
Definitely.
They have huge impacts. And even on the national, especially with the midterms, on the national stage. So Let's take a look at some of we have a little talking points here that we're trying to get through. But yeah, like the first step is registering to vote. You know, a lot of us have been registered for a very long time, but we have some, high school students are starting to turn of age. They can start, or you're moving into the area, that sort of thing. So help us understand registering to vote. It's easy.
It's very easy. Yeah, you can do it in a couple different ways. So one, you can come and visit us at the clerk's office, which we're always happy to see new residents. I always tell people when they're passing by to drop something off to the treasurer's office, like for their housing stuff, that we're like, are you also registered to vote? Let's get you changed right now so that we can get you registered. You can go online, and if you go online, it then sends us a report that says that you would like to be registered. So we verify that this is your address. We make sure that you are who you say you are, and then we'll put you in the system. You can do it by mail, same thing. You can print out a form from your computer, and then it will get mailed to us. Or you can also go to the Secretary of State, and that's been a newer one because now they actually pre-register kids to vote when they get their driver's license.
Right, which is how handy is that?
Yes. So then as soon as they turn of age, it will automatically add them to the qualified voter list, and then they can be registered to vote.
See, that's so handy. It's one less stop. You're going to go take your test, get your license, and you are registered.
Exactly.
Very cool. I mean, you have the records. They're there. You're legal. You're good to go. So that's an awesome feature now. Any other options for like registering, or is that it? Like day of? I've heard some of that stuff. Do we have that here in Michigan?
So the last day to register to vote online or by mail is Monday, July 20th. So there's these kind of a couple important dates that are coming. But with so many ways to vote, you've got early voting, you can get an absentee ballot, you can come to the polls. We've got so many ways for you to vote now that it makes it really convenient. And that's what I love for people, because maybe you can't get to the polls that day, it's the long day at work, whatever the situation is, that you can still have your voice heard.
Right, you out of town traveling, we've seen, you name this scenario, we've seen it. Snowbirds running south for the winter in October. They're leaving early and early. We have members of our ONTV board who get out of Dodge quicker and quicker every year, and quorums are hard to come by. But it's one of those things where people are, and this is kind of sticking to your schedule. I mean, you can get your absentees, your early voting, and I really enjoyed the early voting. Let's talk about early voting a little bit, because that's kind of a new piece that's been thrown in over the last couple of years.
It is.
Can you share a little bit on early voting?
Yeah, so early voting is the 9 days before the election. And you literally, and I know you had mentioned it, but it's really simple. You come in the front door, they'll ask you for your license, all the things that you would see at the regular precinct. And then from there, they print you your ballot right there.
Right.
So then all you do is you move to the next station, you vote, and then you walk to the tabulator just like you would if it was on election day. You see the American flag pop up, you take your I voted sticker, and you're on your way to the grocery store, back to work, to the soccer game, wherever you're going. You can get that done very quickly.
It was awesome.
That's what you said. I love that.
Just before we were on the air, I was saying, I never really took part in the early voting. I always go, I'm a poll guy. I go there the day of. I stand in line if I have to, and we do our civic duty, and we vote. And we've done it with our kids for years and years. And now you go early voting, and now my kids are out of, at school or whatever. So you got to get home to vote.
Yep.
They can come home and they do it real quick. And I was in and out in 5 minutes. It was literally 5 minutes.
I love to hear that.
And it was fabulous.
With early voting this year, we actually are moving. So last year we did early voting at Township Hall, and this year we are moving to the ORC, so the Orion Recreation Center, down the street. So
That's on Baldwin Road.
Yes, on Baldwin Road.
Just make sure.
Yes, AKA the Old Glack.
Right.
People, we got to use all the names.
It's been there a while. I still call it. I'm trying to change.
I try to. But yeah, you're right there in the front room where the cafe used to be. That space has been reformed into just a regular meeting room to be used. And so that's where early voting will take place.
Awesome. And it is literally that quick. It is. We're not exaggerating when you say you're in and out. It's really, really fast and convenient, and the staff there is very helpful, and they get you in and out.
Yes.
before we get into the other, let's talk about your volunteers a little bit,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of people there helping you. Who are they? How are they? Share some information on that.
Yeah, so to run elections, not only does it take our small staff, there's 6 of us in the office that make all this happen, but really we need all of the extra election inspectors. So we have election inspectors, we have the receiving board at the end of the night, and then also the absent voter counting board. So we've got this group of people who volunteer to come in and work elections for us. So all of the election workers, they either went to the website and filled out the election inspector application, which is really simple information that we ask for. And then it literally is 8 pages of spreadsheet.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, that then I move people around.
Right.
And as things happen, somebody emailed yesterday and now they broke their leg. So that will be really tough to stand.
Right.
So I was like, I'll keep you on the list for November. No worries. So then it's kind of like plugging in the next person. But yeah, I mean, the other big thing is all the training that it's required in order to run an election. So actually yesterday, 3 times yesterday, and 3 times tomorrow, we're doing training for the e-poll book. So that's the person when you come up, they scan your license, make sure that your address, make sure everything is good. So that requires, it was about an hour-long training to make sure that they have the skills to be ready to go and refresh those skills. So there's that piece of it too.
Right, and you have a lot of repeats. Like
Yes.
we have some friends here, our volunteers, who have been workers at the polls for
Yes.
years and years and years.
Yes.
So experience is there. They know how to handle you, get you in, get you out,
Yes.
and make sure everything is safe and secure and ready to go. And we're kind of talking about precincts and poll workers. So the precincts did contract, correct?
We did, yeah. We went from 14 precincts to 11. And so that's been really nice too, because we've really been able to centralize where things are. Some of our spaces in the community have beautiful spaces that we were like, okay, could we put some extra voters here? Could we move some voters for here? So that made it really nice. And like I said, all of our community partners, all of our churches, all of our centers, like I can't thank them enough for being able to give us the space to have elections there. Since we've been out of the school district, like that's one big change that a lot of other communities still have. So being able to have those partners has been huge for us.
Right, and been out of the schools for a number of years.
Yes.
It's been rotating that out, and safety and security and all that with the schools is top point. So, but also you get to see a little bit of the township. Like here's your polling place. Go there and see, because ours is at a church, Lutheran church here in town, and has been for years. And I know we talked off camera just before, and they said there might be talk of possibly even contracting it more, but that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, that's still at the state level. They're still talking about that. And as we go, the other thing that we really thought about when we did these 11 precincts is looking at all the housing growth that's happening here in Orion and that's in the pipeline.
Right.
So we didn't want to make our precincts at the 4,999th person in case of depending on where they are in the boundaries. So we really put some good thought into what that looks like to accommodate for that growth. And
it seems like a good number too, because one thing we haven't really had here in Orion is really long lines. I mean, we do have lines on occasion, but it gets you in, gets you out. So there's well thought out of where and how many, and population centers
and the parking and those all of those things too. Because 2 of the precincts that we're not using anymore is the fire station up the road, because that was a tough location to have it there. And then the other one was like our DPW garage. If anybody, if that was your precinct, and there's like the 5 parking spots out front, and then the garage doors are opening because we got to move the trucks in and out. So those were some of the locations that we were like, okay, let's help them move their list into some of the bigger spaces. So that's been some of the nice changes.
There's always a process of working and improving and
always
making sure that it's changing to serve the residents the best you can.
Definitely. When I came in 24, I had been able to be a precinct chair before that. So I've kind of been able to see a lot of the sides. And with the last special election, I've now seen all the sides. I kind of say it's like behind the curtain as to how it all works, because we love that a voter comes in, they get their license out, they get their application, you get your ballot, you go to your station, you put the ballot in, you get your flag, you're ready to go. Like, I love that that's the way that it looks for every voter. And then for them to know that on the back end of it, we're making sure that everything, just like you said, is safe and secure, and our workers are taken care of, and just really making sure it's a great process, because it's the way we all hear our voices.
Right. And talking about security, just it is front of mind of every voter. From sea to shining sea, right? It has been for some time, and We've talked to the previous clerk, Penny, for years about it, and we've sat at these tables. It's kind of a rite of passage. We have these every, midterms and all the election, and talking about security, and we've seen the level of security rise over the years.
Yes.
And it's an ongoing process to make sure everything is secure, your ballot is safe, everything is ready to go, and it's locked away. No tampering, none of that stuff. It is locked away. And so when we scan our ballots, what happens? So where does that go?
Yeah, it's a great question. So when you scan your ballot, it drops down into the ballot box, which if you've ever looked at them, they have these seals on the back of them that basically looks like a fancier version of a zip tie.
Okay.
And they have serial numbers on them, and all of that information is recorded with the chair and the co-chair and the poll book. So if we needed to know where something is, like, we can tell exactly where that information is. So when people are like, oh, I don't know where they go after that, well, that's where they are. And then
it's like serial numbers in a sense. Everything is locked. These ballots at this location are locked into a bag. It is
each
locked.
Each precinct, yes, everything is exactly where we know it is. And then we also have a space that we store them at Township Hall too, which is inside of more security, which is inside of one more level of security. So I can tell you for sure that your ballots are safe and your votes, that's where they are.
Awesome. And when we scan our ballots, that machine itself is not on the public internet.
It is not.
It is nowhere near the public internet.
And actually, that's one of the jobs that I do, is that I make sure that I uninstall that so they can't even get to them. So it's either you do that version or you can turn them on airplane mode. But that's how they don't connect to any outside Wi-Fi or internet. But that's one of the procedure steps that we go through when we get ready to use them at the poll book.
Right. And turnaround. So near the end of let's say that day, the turnaround of that information, so we can actually see it like on OakGov.
Yes.
And that's a very handy tool that they've put up over the last couple of years. We can actually see the progress of the elections.
The bar graph, you can watch it.
We've done live shows in the early stages of that where we're live on the air, and reporting wasn't as fast as we thought it would be. And so,
always.
But it's not about speed, it's about accuracy.
Definitely.
And solid information, real information.
Yeah, and I'll say that's one of the things that after seeing the first election in 2025 that I got to do with the team that we've had, it was kind of like, okay, let's make notes. So I felt like I walked through and made notes on all the different processes and what it looks like, because not only do I want all of our voters to have a great time, I also want our staff to feel like we're doing things effectively, efficiently, making sure. So we've made some notes, and it's funny because last Thursday with our full election staff, we played election night. And we kind of put everybody in their spot and said, okay, let's look at how the flow of when chairs and co-chairs come back in, what will that process look like? So we're really fine-tuning some of those things. And it's always going to be a learning process, and we're always going to update and find a new efficient way to do something and a new secure way to do something. So that's what we've been working on.
Right. And another angle of security and updating and modernization and reacting to the public's need and wants. The new drop boxes, they have gone in. They are installed. I actually saw it when I was paying my water bill the other day at Township Hall, and it's sitting adjacent at Township Hall to the old, the regular drop box.
Is.
And that thing it's a vault. It is a box.
Yes,
I mean,
it has 3 sets of keys that go to it to get that open. So right now during absent voter counting season, we are required to check those drop boxes every day. So we are making the rounds out there to pick up all of those ballots. And so you can find those in a couple different locations. So one is in the village, so right next to the village
Hall.
Village Hall / the village police station, where it's right there.
Okay.
So you can drop your ballot there and it will get to us. There's the one at the Orc, so you can drop your ballot at the one at the Orc too.
Is that near the entrance?
Yep, near the entrance. So kind of there's a bike rack. It's right sitting there, so it's really convenient.
It is marked, and it's easy to see. There's tags
like
all over.
Purpley pink, kind of a color scheme going on.
It's easy to see. It got my attention.
Yeah, and then there's the one outside at Township Hall, so right there in the drive, like you said, if you're paying your bill on the one side,
it's
then the
right
ballot
on the right. It's sitting right
on
there.
the other.
Right.
Or if you want to, you can actually come in the building, and there's one more inside of the building right across from the clerk's counter. So you don't have to come in and talk to us. You don't have to do any of that, but you can just walk in and slip your ballot in.
Right.
And the one thing you notice is that the slot is just big enough for this envelope to go through. Because that's one of the pieces of the security and
Right.
the safety to make sure that what's going in there is what exactly should go in
Right,
there.
and the regular drop off, you had a big door you open, you could
Yes.
possibly get an arm in there. I mean, you have to have really long arms
Yeah,
to get
you
to the
would,
bottom.
definitely, yes.
But we understand, and government responded and saying, yes, you're right. Let's have designated boxes, and that was the first thing I noticed, besides the color,
Yes.
was that slot is paper thin. I mean,
it is perfectly sized.
Nothing else is getting in there.
Yes.
And security cameras. I mean, you have
Definitely.
at the Township Hall, you have the security cameras. Everything
Yes.
is seen, and like you said, 3 keys to get those ballots.
It's-
So
It's quite a system. Yeah, and the
Right.
ballot drop boxes are monitored 24/7. So I know that's a question that people sometimes
Right.
have of like, who's looking at it, who's watching. Those are monitored 24/7 during election season, so we can see everything that's going on out
okay.
there.
And are we missing anything? Absentee voters.
Oh,
So
that's a big one.
that's a huge one, right?
That's a big
Because
one.
people are traveling. You have military. You have all these.
Yes.
Right. I mean, there's different scenarios that as soon as you think you know all the scenarios, 10 more pop up.
Well, and that's the thing. When the voters decided that that's the way that it was going to be, that it didn't need to be, you needed to fill out the form that said you were going to be on vacation, you physically couldn't do it because of whatever was
Right.
happening with you. That really changed things. So I actually brought an example of an absentee ballot, that what it is that they look like. So if you were to get an absentee ballot in the mail, you would see this blue outside envelope. And then on the inside, you would see the envelope that you're going to return it in. And then on the we got, here's a sample ballot. So this one is one of the official sample ones. So it goes inside the privacy sleeve so that when it is that it is opened, when we count the absent voter counting board, that's all secure. So you've got your ballot on the inside. So what you would do is you would mark your ballot just like you would in the precinct.
Right.
You're going to put it back in the secrecy sleeve. Then it goes in the fancy purple envelope.
So double bags.
Double. And then it is already postmarked for you, so you don't have to put a stamp on
Right.
it, which is always great. And then on this side, the only thing that you need to do is you need to sign and date it. So it's pretty simple. And then from that step, then up here is some more information, like then when it comes back to the office, then this is the stuff that we fill in. When was it returned and what's your ballot number and
Okay.
what's your precinct? So if you already have your ballot, those are pre-printed on there for you. But if you
Okay.
got one printed otherwise, then we would do that so we can tell exactly where it is, who checked it in, and then the initials of the person goes right next to that.
Very
So
cool.
that's what it would look
And
like.
You mentioned too that tracking of your ballot is a thing now.
Yeah. So if you go out to michigan.gov and if you get an absentee ballot, you can actually watch it through the system. You can sign up for the alerts. So there's text alerts or email alerts, and
So
you
you
can
actually
see.
follow it through the
you can see
process
where
of
it
it was
goes.
picked up, it is in process, processed through the mail at your local,
Yes.
post office. It is being delivered, is dropped off, it is good, it has arrived at its destination, so you can actually track.
It's like watching your packages on the
Right.
Amazon truck.
Yeah, you figure if we can, follow our little knickknacks we order online, we should be able to follow a ballot.
Exactly. So that's been a great addition too.
Wow. So yeah, it's coming up quick. Is there anything we didn't hit right now? And this is like this program really is generalizations. We have some specifics we hit, which are important and that top of mind. I'm a resident here in Orion, have been here for 26 years,
Mhm.
and it's the questions that I would have that I'm asking
Always.
of our clerk and learning more about how you're changing things and improving things at all times. And having been here, almost 20 years at ONTV doing these videos with the
Yes.
clerk and working with them, it is amazing how things have progressed over time and
Yeah.
how the local government, Orion Township, has really responded to the residents. You ask for certain things and you're listening, and
Yes.
they're coming on and just making everything secure, easy to do.
Yes.
Get your vote in. It's so important to have your vote in, especially in the local elections. We kind of talked that off camera too, is
Yes.
the importance of those local elections, the
Yes.
impact they have. These types of elections really hit the locals in a very important way.
They do. They do. The one other thing I was going to talk about really
Yeah.
quickly is so we created
yes.
an election
Yeah.
voter guide. So this is also on the website in a nice PDF version as well. But if you wanted a physical copy, we do have some of them in the office. But inside of this is, I like to say, anything you could ever want to know or need to know about voting. So not only about steps to register to vote, when elections are, you've got absentee ballots. So we wanted to make it really user friendly that if someone had a question, it was like, oh, I can go and find that right here. Early voting, so the dates of early voting, so it always starts the second Saturday before the election. So that day would be July 25th, will be early voting. And then we also put the early voting dates for November already.
So the information in that pack is
here.
good all the way through
November.
the general.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then if you're a military or an overseas voter, we put a little bit of information in there for you. Oh, I know what we didn't talk about. Accessible voting.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yes. So if you need to use the VAT, which is the Voter Assist Terminal, every precinct has that available. Our election inspectors are trained to be able to help you use that if it is that's something that you need. So there's a section on that in here. We've got this beautiful calendar to remind you of the dates.
I need calendars.
I know, me too. I feel like I have a lot of them, but it keeps me busy. More safety and security information on there. So, and the other thing too is the new precinct map.
Right.
So this one you can find on the website, or you can also scan the QR code here or on the website, like we said, and then it will take you to the interactive map where you can type in your address and it will specifically tell you where your precinct
That's so
is.
handy.
If you forget where you're going.
I know the cards were mailed out, and sometimes those get lost in the stack of other mail. I think I'm telling on myself. I don't think ours has changed, but like I said, I'm going to do the early voting just out of convenience, and that's a lot of fun. But that is a huge informational packet there. That's really, really helpful to get us through the general from now on. Again, where can we find that?
You can find this in the office at Township Hall. It's right there on the front counter. Or like I said, if you go to the website, you
have an
can
electronic
find
version.
Yep. So if you see our logo of What's Your Plan, so this was kind of our theme for the year. Because there's so many different ways you can plan to vote that we wanted to make sure that all of our residents knew how it is that they could vote and all the different ways to do it. So that is where you can find it.
Well, it's a lot of information crammed in a short period of time.
I know. It always seems that's the way it goes.
But, this is very important. Elections are important. The work you guys do is so important to our community, and I can't even fathom the details you guys are going through all the time to make this happen, plus on top of all the other work you guys are doing in your office. So
I have to give all the credit to my staff. That's the other thing to say too. Like if we all didn't play our part and do all the things to make this happen, like I have an incredible team and I'm so grateful for each of them because like I said, our AP coordinator does reporting at the end of the night. Our accounting controller does her job at the end of the night when it comes to elections. So it takes our entire team to make that happen. Right.
And you guys do a good job. And the township, Orion Township, have always really worked quickly and within the rules and within security, and it's all there. And if anybody has questions, we know you can call 248-391-0304 extension 1. The answers are there. It's
or
someone's
come and visit us in person
or
we
say
love
hi,
that too.
right? And if you want to email too, you have elections@oriontownship.org and then mi.gov/vote for more information on the wider elections. So Julia Dalrymple, Township Clerk here at Orion Township, thank you so much for coming in.
No problem.
Thank you for the information. And be sure to get that information out. Share it with others. If you come across this program, don't forget to share this information with others if they're having questions. An educated electorate is a good electorate.
Pointed to the right direction. That's what we asked for.
Good information and resources available. So thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Orion Outreach, and we'll see you guys next time.